What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Mercury's Mind. I am your host, Mercury. Today, we're going to be doing the Cancer installation to my mini zodiac series. Alright, let's go. What up, Cancers, my Cancerians? You know what I'm saying? What y'all got going on? Huh? How y'all feeling today? Your mood probably switched a few hundred times. You low-key just walked in, absorbed some of the environment. You ain't really mean to, you know what I'm saying? I hope you hear that in the background? I hope you're out doing that. Get by some water. You're going to need it because you're fluid. You constantly need water around you. You know what I'm saying? You need to drink a lot of water. You know what I'm saying? You need to move like water. Live life like water. Feel emotions like water. Allow emotions to come in and go out just like a current. The current to your inner sea. You know what I'm saying? All right, Cancers. Let's talk about the planet that rules you. That is Moon. That is Chandra. See, Moon is very ancestral. It's very ancestral. So naturally, that makes Cancer very ancestral. Cancer does rule Mother, but it's not just the mother you're born from physically. It's also the mother in you. You know, every person is their own parent. Mother and father. So it's the inner mother, it's the external mother, it's Earth. Any type of nurturing energy in your life, that's probably Cancer, or maybe a little bit of Taurus, because Moon exalts in Taurus. So I mean, you could just take both of those signs. Both those signs are dealing with comfort, nurturance, nourishment. One thing I will say, Cancer, if you're a Cancer and you say you don't know how to cook, show me one Cancer that says they can't cook, I will show you one lie. That is a lie. It's a lie, and I don't care what you say. It's a lie, because, and this for Sun, Mom, Sun, Rising, and Moon. You could probably apply it to other things, but, for the sake of these short videos, this is just for the Sun, Rising, and Moon. If you're a Cancer, you can cook. You absolutely can cook. So if you tell me you can't cook, stop it and start tapping into your ancestors. Let them. You don't need to be. The only recipes you should be following are ones passed down tradition. Fourth house, Cancer, opposite Capricorn. So the only recipes you should be following is the one that your great grandma or your great granddaddy or whoever had. You don't need to be worrying. Your cooking standards should not be dependent upon what you see outside you. This is all intuitive. That's what Cancer deals with. Intuition, your emotional waters, feelings, the thing extrasensory, the things that is not just visible, the things that are big. Cancer is like the water you can see. So you throw something in the water and you can see all the ripples, but you don't see what happens way, way deeper. You don't see how that affects when it goes deeper. That turns into Scorpio. But anyway, yeah, so I already know, if you're a Cancer, Sun, Moon, Rising, one of the biggest things, one of the biggest, this is an ancestral sign. So if you're a Cancer, Sun, Moon, or Rising, specifically on the luminaries, but I mean, really all of them, then you're probably the oldest. If you have siblings, you're probably the oldest. And especially Cancer, out of all the cardinals. Now, I did learn this. I got shout out to Umi Genevieve. Like, she's the one that first brought it to my attention. And about cardinal signs being like the eldest. They're either the eldest of the siblings or they're the only sibling. And that is held true majority of the time. And especially with Cancers, where Cancer on the luminary, because what happens is you start to take on that role of the nurturer, the mother for it. You become like the second or third parent, I guess you'd call it, the third parent. You become a parental influence in your younger sibling's life. That's usually what happens in a Cancer moon. I can guarantee you, if you have a Cancer moon and you have siblings, I bet you're the oldest. I bet you're the oldest. As long as it's not like step and all that. Like, just you and your siblings, I guarantee you're probably the oldest. So when you got Cancer, just being a Cancer in general, your life thing is just going to be around your sensitivity. And it won't be just your ability to nurture others. It'll be your ability to nurture yourself and receive nurturance. Cancer is the feminine side of emotions. It's the receptive side of emotions. It's the I feel, which is why Cancers need to constantly be, their mind has to be like water. It needs to be fluid, because if it's not fluid, they're going to get lost in waters. You know, when them rapid waters come, they got to let them come and go. If they come and they freak out, they're going to freak out. This is going to happen every time. You're going to get rattled, because Cancer's ruled by the moon. Moon rules water. Moon does what to water? Waves, tides, all that. So that push and pull, Cancers feel that even more so. They feel it throughout their body, but they feel it in their mind and their emotional sea. Their emotional sea is pushed and pulled by the moon all the time. Not to mention the moon transits a sign every 2.5 days. So just think about that. That gives you a little bit of insight into the Cancerian nature, especially when it's on when it's on the luminaries or the rising. It's not an easy sign. So but like every other water sign, it's going to take solitude. It's going to take fluidity. You know, it's going to take grace. And it's going to take an acceptance of your sensitivity. A lot of times, what I've seen personally in people with Cancer placements, you know, the house is also affected, but they might not like how sensitive they are. They might not accept it. They might deny it or wish to push it away. They don't like the feeling of being the sensitive feeling. They don't like it, you know, because they don't like constantly having to deal with emotions and how turbulent emotions can become and how uncomfortable emotions can become. Because one thing about a water sign, you can't control an any, but especially with water sign, you can't control when your emotions come up. You can't help but feel them fully, because you are the water. So the emotions really pass through you. You feel it it's very firsthand. It's not like where you were like an air moon. You might intellectualize them. You might, you know, peep the emotions and observe them. But water moon, you damn near are the emotions. Well, you are and you aren't. You're the seed. You're the seed that the emotions swim through. The emotional currents go through your seed. You're the water that the emotional currents come through. So it's your job to allow them through and allow them to leave. A lot of water signs, Cancers, Scorpios, Pisces, can have feelings in anything and not let it go. You know what I'm saying? Because they're like, whoa, I like this one. It was never yours to begin with. You were only meant to experience it, you know, allow it to flow through you, then allow it to leave you too. You're not meant to flow through and hold it. You can't hold water. You ever seen water flowing down a stream and there's a bunch of rocks? What happens? The water don't just see a rock and be like, oh, let me just stop. Water's like, okay, it just goes right around, you know. So you gotta let that shit go. It ain't like you can stop the water anyway. You can't stop the emotions. You gotta let them flow through you. That's the only way you can get a control of your mind. Because if you trying to control the emotions that are flowing, the emotional currents that are flowing through your inner sea, good luck, Charlie. Good luck, Charlie, because that's not going to be a fun time. And you're going to feel like you have no control. You know what I'm saying? And you're going to want to just stow away the sensitivity altogether. So, Cancer rising, when you wake up and you open your eyes and you walk outside, you open the door and you're stepping into the waters, the emotional waters and the emotional currents. That's in your everyday reality. You live in that. You probably have gills. No, I'm fucking with you. But, you know, like every day your shit is like that. You know, you operate from that emotional state. So a Cancer rising is probably a person, you know, it depends on the evolved expression or the lower expressions of it. But a Cancer rising can be a person that is extremely, that's like having moon on the ascendant. So it's just a person that's extremely nurturing. You attract people that want to be nurtured by you and be pampered by you. And you are probably a person that likes to just nurture others and pamper them. Also, you're probably extremely artistic and just really in tune with, when you're in tune with your sensitivity and emotions, naturally everything you do kind of becomes artistic. You know what I'm saying? Because you know how to flow. You catch that rhythm and you just flow. So if you have moon on the ascendant or Cancer rising, you're a personable person. You're a person that people probably come up to you and they just feel comfortable. You make them feel just comfortable. You make them feel seen and like at home. Think of like fourth house, like you make them feel like a nice old hug, you know? So people like come up to you, meet you for the first time and be very like with you. People easily feel, you feel like a parent or a mother, you know? You're just very nurturing. So part of the themes as a Cancer rising is knowing when and when not to nurture certain things and when to leave that shit for yourself. You see what I'm saying? Cancer sun, now that's a bit different. Cancer on all the luminaries is going to deal with sensitivity, but Cancer sun, this is like a lifelong theme of tapping into your sensitivity and working it in your favor. Cancer sun, depending on what house is in, you could have been, like I said, you would have had to step up and be the parent. You could have lost a parent at a young age, or a parent could have not been around at a young age, or you were just the third parent, you know what I'm saying? You were just the eldest sibling. So with a Cancer sun, this is about creating a life of healing, moving the lineage forward. Cancer moon has to do with your lineage, ancestral lineage, karma. There's a couple other planets that have that, you know, tie into that, but the moon is like your lineage, your ancestral karmas as well. Sun too, really, because Leo, Peaches, the Maga Nakshatra, but Cancer is about moving forward that lineage, you know what I'm saying? When I hear Cancer, when I think of Cancer, I think of family tree, because then opposite Cancer is Capricorn. Capricorn is the physical building and evolving the foundation of that lineage. Cancer is the emotional, it's the inner world, you know? So a lot of time Cancer deals with past life shit, because the moon also deals with past life things. So Cancer sun, you might be dealing with a lot of past life emotional things that are moving, that you're meant to deal with in this life to move forward and create new emotional pathways for your lineage moving forward, because Cancer's still on the fourth house. It's still an angular. It's still opposite the 10th. You know, both of those have to do with lineage. Now, a Cancer moon is like the friend out of a group. Cancer sun can be too. Cancer, especially if you got other planets with the sun. But a Cancer moon, that's the parent out of the group. These are people that are always taking on the roles of parents. They might complain about it too. They might complain about it. They might not like it, you know. They might always find themselves in parental roles and they might complain about it, but they seek it out too for fulfillment, because it's Cancer on the moon. Just make sure you're filling yourself up first. And like I say, with any water sign, you have a strong energetic routine, energetic hygiene, routine, cleansing, rituals, all that in place, because you will sponge up your environment. Doesn't matter how skilled and honed your tools are, you will sponge your environment up, so you will need to have a nice routine intact. If you're a Cancer moon, especially Cancer rising too, I mean Cancer sun, really all of them, you also have to be doing something that your heart is in, your feelings are in. It has to fulfill you internally, emotionally. You have to be emotionally invested in it, especially as a Cancer moon. You have to do things. If you don't, that will disconnect you from your sensitivity, which will disconnect you from part of your reason for being here. Your birth chart, if you want to know your purpose, look at your birth chart will tell you. You don't have to figure it out. Your purpose is really just as simple as waking up and being your authentic self. But if you want to know your purpose, your birth chart will tell you. Cancer moons are not meant to be disconnected from their sensitivity. They are not meant to be closed off to other people. They're tapping into too much of the shadow of Capricorn, of their sister. Cancers are supposed to be open with boundaries, private for sure, private, because the things that keep you happy and fulfill you, everybody don't need to know that, because everybody not gonna be happy for it. So if you allow So if you don't have boundaries and privacy in your life, then you start to jeopardize your peace. Another thing about all Cancer, sun, rising, and moon, these people, look, bro, y'all hear Cancer, you hear water, you think of tears. Yeah, that's true. But you ever seen somebody going to war for somebody they love with tears falling out their eyes, but ready to take a life too? Yeah, Cancer is primal. Cancers are going to protect what they love. They're going to protect what brings them solace. They're going to protect what brings them peace. They're going to protect what they've created, what they've poured and nurtured. They're going to protect it, for sure. That's not even something that's instinctual. That's like maternal instincts. You know what I'm saying? They're going to protect it, and they're going to do it ferociously. You know what I'm saying? Don't hear Cancer and think of the moon and water, think it's soft, bro. You know, water's soft when you're just splashing it in the pool, but if you jump from a high enough height and you hit the water, it can shatter your entire body. You'll feel like jumping on the ground. So, you know, Cancer is very fluid. You know, water can be like a rain droplet, and it can be like a whip of water. You know, Avatar, when they be water bending. Exactly. So that'll also be another oscillation with the Cancer Capricorn. It's when to be really soft and fluid, and then when to be hard and like, it's when to just, you know, be the nice flow, like water in a shower, and then when to be like hail. Because Cancer can be both. All right. And yeah, that sums it up. Honestly, Cancer, like, your main things is just going to be around sensitivity. Now, I know that's you know, pretty general, but start there and start to tap in more. Okay, guys, this is the Cancer installation to my mini Zodiac series. I now have 3 videos left, which is Gemini, Libra, and Taurus. So those going to be coming soon. In the meantime, y'all go look at the other videos I've done. Like, what, 8 other videos? Go check those out. If you like this video, like it, and the other videos, like them. If you want to comment something, as long as it ain't no hate, because you will get blocked today. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, subscribe if you fuck with this shit, bro, because ain't nothing, you know, learn something. Come learn something. Shit. I'll be leaving my website in the description below if you want any of my astrological services. You feel me? Thank you for tuning in to Mercury's Mind. I am your host, Mercury. Goodbye.